Hello everybody, welcome back to Reconstructing Nigeria and Nigerians. Well, today's topic is failure of leaders is the same as the failure of citizens, or failure of leaders is equal to the failure of citizens. Well, what I really meant to say is that if leaders of a nation, political leaders fail, it means that the citizens have failed too. If the citizens have not failed earlier, then the leaders will not fail. So the failure of the leaders of a land is the failure of the citizens. The citizens themselves are responsible for the failure of their leaders. It must be emphasized once again that the failure of leadership in any country is a failure of its citizens, because leaders are not angels. That's number one. But secondly, no leader of any country is imported, especially Nigeria. Our leaders are not imported from the sky. They are not imported from the moon. They are not imported from another planet. They are from among us. So the reason why we have bad leaders is because we have bad citizenry, because we draw our leaders from the citizens. We draw our leaders from the populace. If the populace, the whole essence of the populace is evil, then we're going to have evil leaders, because the populace, the leaders are coming from the same pot, from the same bowl of where every citizen is, and it is from among us that they come out. So it is like a bowl or a pot that is full of black ink, and you put white balls inside. The white ball will become black immediately because of the black environment that is coming from. So if our environment, the environment of our country is that of corruption, is that of evil, is that of manipulation, selfishness, and things like that, that is the kind of leader that will come out of that pot. So the failure of leaders of the country is the failure of the citizens of the country. Leaders are a product of their own environment. Leaders are only a product of their own country. They emerge from among their citizens. Therefore, if the leaders are corrupt, it is because the citizens are corrupt. It is only corrupt citizens that give birth to corrupt leaders. The corrupt leaders don't come from the moon, while the citizens are saints. If the citizens are saints, then you are going to have leaders that are saints also. But if the leaders are corrupt, it means that the majority of the people are corrupt too. And it is only the corrupt nation that gives birth to corrupt leaders. It is only the corrupt citizens that give birth to corrupt leaders. So by the same parity of reasoning, if the leader fails, it is because the citizens themselves have failed. They have failed morally, and they have failed in their duties as citizens. They have failed in their personal responsibility as citizens. So more so for citizens to abdicate their civil responsibility to their country and simply wait for government or a messiah leader to come and provide for them everything that they need, that is a failure. When citizens begin to wait for the government to do something for them, they are admitting to their failure. When the citizens are waiting for one messiah leader to come and deliver them and give them everything they need, they are admitting to their failure. So it is a repulsive, it is of citizens to blame leaders after they themselves have already, given their consigned and abdicated their role as responsible citizens to the country, to their government. Now that they are now expecting the government to do everything, to even put food on their table, that is one of the repulsive symptoms of laziness in the people and irresponsibility in the citizens. So it is laziness and irresponsibility of people that make them to be demanding that it is the government that should do everything for them. No nation ever grows or becomes developed to the maximum capacity when the citizens have this kind of mindset, when the citizens are saying that it is the government that's supposed to do everything for them. In the inaugural speech of John F. Kennedy, the 35th president of America, he asked the question, he said, ask not what your country could do for you, ask what you can do for your country. What he was saying, in essence, is that the citizens have a responsibility and a duty towards their country. Not just the government has a duty and responsibility towards the citizens or toward the country, but the citizens themselves have the duty and responsibility to their country. This is what is called patriotism, and this is what it means to be a citizen. Love for your country must be directed and be demonstrated by your responsibility towards your own country. But today in Nigeria, most people, they don't show responsibility to the country. They are always blaming the government, which that blaming itself shows that you are irresponsible. It is true that good and responsible citizens can compel the leadership of any nation to do the right thing. If our people are righteous, if our people are upright, if our people are responsible, we will force the government to do the right thing. We will force them to we will compel them to live by the righteous standard of the citizens. But when the citizens themselves don't have a righteous standard, they don't even know where the standard is, or if they know it, they themselves are compromised. And because they are compromised, they will tolerate the corrupt government. So by the same parity of reasoning, an irresponsible and immoral citizens will derail the government, because sometimes even you could have good government, sometimes you could have good leaders, but when the citizens are not developed, or when the citizens are ignorant, when the citizens are immoral, when the citizens corrupt themselves, they will derail the leaders. A lot of times I hear politicians who try to vie for office in Nigeria who have complained that the people are demanding bribes themselves. It is not just the politicians who want to bribe, but it is the citizens that are now demanding bribes and are now demanding that you have to say to this one, say to this one. So even when you have good leaders, the citizens' corruption, the corrupt level or the corrupt character of the citizens themselves will derail the leadership. We saw that in the Bible. You remember the story from the book of 1 Samuel 15 verse 3, when God told Saul to go and strike the Amalekite, and he said he should go and destroy the Amalekites and destroy everything there. But what did Saul do? Saul didn't do what God said. He decided to save some sheep, some oxen, some fatlings, some lambs, some goods, and even the king himself, he didn't destroy him. So, and that singular act of gross disobedience kindled the anger of God. And he sent the prophet Samuel to him to scold him for such impunity. But unfortunately, in his reply, Saul blamed the people for his failure. He said it is the people that derailed him. So this incident culminated in God's rejection of Saul from being the king of Israel. But, the people compelled him to do like that, even though he wanted to do the right thing. So it is possible that the people whose values and morals are falling, they will now be able to tolerate good leadership. They will be the one to derail or kill or assassinate the good leader. So the story above clearly reveals to us that the consequences of a failed leadership could be because the result. Sometimes the reason why we have failed leadership is because of the responsibility of the citizens. The citizens sometimes are responsible for the failure of the leader. Saul, in this particular case, failed in his responsibility as a leader because he wanted to please the people. And the people demanded that he shouldn't kill everything, he shouldn't destroy everything. So he obeyed them. He wanted to make them happy. And as a result, he lost his throne. And the people themselves lost the leadership of God upon them. Before Saul, even when God was the king over Israel, Israel himself Israel as a nation came to demand that they don't want the leadership of God. Let them put a king for them. So the citizens themselves play a major role in the success or failure of leadership. So these things happen, and I think that in Nigeria we've also had good leaders. We've had good leaders. We had Muritala Muhammad, and he was killed. We had people like Nnamdi Azikiwe, Tafawa Balewa, and they were removed from the authority. One was killed, one was removed. We had leaders like even Buhari in the first time when he came, and Idi Agbon, they were removed. We had Obasanjo. The citizens themselves demanded that he would not stay for the third term. And then when he left, the country collapsed again, even though he brought the country out of a very terrible situation. But it is the citizen that demanded that he should not stay for third term, he should not stay again. And now we have what we have. So instead of the citizens to lead, instead of the citizens to demand for a higher standard of morality, they rather brought the country down or the leadership down. The bottom line of what I'm saying is that while many leaders in this country, in our country, have significantly failed, the citizens themselves have largely failed by not imbibing godly virtues in themselves, godly character, and conduct expected of responsible citizens. It's not just the leaders of our country that have changed, that have failed. Our citizens have failed too. This shows that they have not risen to the challenge of service and responsibility to the nation. Not just the leaders, but the citizens too. So there are two sides to the coin here. There is the responsibility of the leaders to give leadership and to give godly leadership, but there is also the responsibility of the citizens to be able to follow and to be able to also, imbibe the right character and the right value system for themselves. So right now, I think that one of the greatest problems that Nigeria has is the failure of the value system. Our people don't have values. We have not imbibed the right value system. And we shouldn't wait for the leaders to come and bring that upon us. Let's arise as citizens ourselves and begin to teach in every village and every town the right values to our people. Let social organizations arise. Let individuals arise to begin to imbibe and teach the right values, godliness to our people. So a citizen, at the end of the day, the citizens will always get the kind of leaders that they deserve. So it is at the end of the day, the way the citizens are, that they will produce the kind of leaders they will produce. If the citizens are corrupt, the leaders will be corrupt. If the citizens are upright, the leaders will be upright. So if our citizens uphold and celebrate wrong values, then we cannot expect our leaders to uphold and celebrate the right values. They will also uphold and celebrate the evil values. But if our citizens will uphold and celebrate the godly values, the right values and virtues, then we will have such leaders as well. This is the way the old world works, and Africa and Nigeria cannot be an exception. So let's work with our citizens. Let's work for them to be able to get the right values. Let's work to change the content of character of our people. Let's help them to imbibe the right virtues and values and character and godly standards. Once our citizens have that, we will not have problem of leadership anymore. For the love of God, church and nation, peace.